Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Now, I have got a little free delivery of stones from the man, the myth, the legend, Nick Hoops. Him and his old Opalton Boulder crew, check them out on Facebook. They hit a big pocket of this stuff because I've seen him put up a lot of it in the recent times. Now, as you can tell, ironstone, so it is Boulder Opal. Nick is my Boulder Opal man. This one's a bit matrixy, but what you can see here are little Boulder Opal pipes. So the Boulder Opal pipes, these are some good examples. What you get in the ground are a lot of these little channels. Sometimes they're very tubular and they can actually be quite huge. These are actually really small examples of it. And he has pulled some rippers out of the ground. Here you can see a cross section of one. These ones are more the side on view. But you get a lot of these little voids, and if they fill with opal, you end up with these nice tubes of opal, and you can get full face stones. This one's a little bit short. If it was cut in this direction, you could end up with a nice long stone. They make great pendants. The smaller ones like this make great rings. And you can see the ground itself is pretty porous. So sometimes you can get this little matrixy effect as well. You can treat this stuff like you do fairy opal. It will come out very similar, but what you want is you want to find these big chunks. So it's not like a seam opal where you've got this straight flat bar, kind of like a dinner plate. Instead, you end up almost like a Beleminte. So that's where you've got the rostrum of a ancient squid that's died, and then that hard cartilage kind of nose cone looking thing turns into a nice chunk of opal. This one, it's literally just all these voids, all these pockets. Sometimes you get real long tubular ones. It can be from ancient tree roots, all sorts of stuff, and you end up forming what can be incredibly clean stuff. Because the void starts out as a hollow anyway, it can fill with just the most pure looking crystal opal. It is often just crystal, and you can see sometimes there are voids that don't fill with anything. It's just pure luck. And then you've got all these little tiny little pockets here that have just filled with a bit of a matrix. Not sure how deep that one penetrates, and here you can see sometimes they can even just fill with mud. So it's really interesting stuff. Much like this where you see the conglomerate style opal, it's exactly the same as that, it's just longer, bigger tubes. And here we got some nice pieces. I mean, this one would have been a real nice channel. I bet you that travels much deeper into the stone because I can't even see the ironstone behind that. And this is all basically dry. If I give him a quick dunk in the water, yeah, just lightning stuff. So what we'll do today is, I guess this one is the one that I'm the most excited about. You can see you can make this into a hole through pendant. Probably in this direction here. There's plenty of other options for it, but I'll just show you that we can get a nice little finish on this face. Essentially, I'll just buff it a little bit with some aluminium oxide, and we'll see what it looks like. And if you're interested in the stuff, definitely hit up Nick Hoops. I actually think I saw something on Facebook, and I'll pop it up if I can find it. Something about a giveaway that they were running for their Facebook page. So if you do have Facebook, this is one of the only good reasons to have a Facebook. I'll have a link in the description. Anyway, let's just buff this one up and see what it comes out as. We're not going to be able to get rid of all of the pitting. That would actually require treatment, but you don't want to do any treatment when you've got a nice solid chunk of opal, because I can probably recut this, slice it out, and save this piece and get a pretty full-faced piece of opal. I mean, it even seems to dive a little bit under this bar here, so I could even carve it out and have a look. But I'll just show you what it looks like buffed up. And it's always good to show you how to do the aluminium oxide one, because it's a little bit tricky and people get a bit confused. So let's hit it and see how it goes. Alright, change of plan. What I'm going to do is I'm going to work this really porous face. You can see there's plenty of pits, and we're going to do the soap plugging. So this is an opal hack I teach real early beginners. Ones that get really frustrated with metal oxide sticking inside all the pores, what you need to do is grab a piece of soap, just a plain bar of soap. I know they're pretty rare these days, but you can still find them in the shops. A bar of soap, and just scrub. You want to go in multiple directions, and you don't want to be gentle with this. You want to force it into all of those pits. Occasionally just wipe your finger over it to get rid of all the loose bits, and have a good inspection. You can see there's a couple of spots there where it's still got a little bit of a hole. You don't want to leave any holes. You're going to be wanting to plug absolutely everything and get that nice even coat. You can see at the end of my fingernail there are still some little bits and pieces, so scrub again. Use some circular motions, vertical motions, horizontal motions, whatever works. You want to push hard and you want to push in all the directions. You'll just let the Boulder Opal just nibble away at that bar of soap and just suck in and fill in any little holes that you want. Now, it's important that you get this all right, because what you're going to do with the aluminium oxide is you are going to push hard, and that's because when you're starting out, you always push too hard. But I'm going to demonstrate with a brand new felt tip that I am going to run this hard and fast, and I'm also going to do what you shouldn't do and directly apply just mostly a paste. So it's going to be put on very thick. And this is just worst case scenario, have no idea how to use aluminium oxide, just chuck it on and grind it into the surface. And you'll see by the end of it, we will still not be able to trap any aluminium oxide in there. Now you can dunk in the water a little bit, but don't go overboard. Don't soak it in the water for too long, otherwise you're going to have to reapply your soap. And this will be only on the final stage where you should have the least number of pits anyway. You've already gone through all your other burrs. And then at the end, you just want to keep dunking it in the water, give it a good rub. You'll feel when the soap is gone, and then when you have a look at it semi-dry, it's got all those little pits. But then we'll have a look at it completely dry, and you'll see what I mean. We'll be able to avoid all of the aluminium oxide from getting stuck in the surface. Alright, and there you have it. This is the perfect type of material to showcase the old bar of soap cheat. And honestly, if I get this packet over here, this is a pure, plain, old, ordinary bar of soap. Nothing special about it. It was something that I got out of a hotel stay somewhere. I did shop around and look through a couple of shops. It's lost all of this scent now. It's pretty old. I went through a couple of shops, and you know what? It is actually super hard to buy a plain, ordinary bar of soap. I guess they are not popular at all anymore. So what you want to do is you want to avoid anything with like a moisturizer cream. Heaps of them had that. It was like 25% moisturizer. That'll wash out real quick, and you want it to stick in there a little bit. And you want to avoid anything with any seeds or anything, because that's just not going to help. And then you can't use my favorite bars of soap, which is the gravelly style one, the pumice infused one where you can like grind the oil off your hands when you get a bit too much machining grease and stuff on there. Can't use that, you'll end up scratching everything. You just want to get as plain a bar of soap as humanly possible. It seems to be really hard from what I found out in the last couple of days, so I just used this sample soap that I got from a hotel stay. And as you can see, if I get the glare just right, you can see, look at that. There's still heaps of pits and pores, but you notice that they are not packed in with the metal oxide powder. You can see here, this is the unpolished parts. I mean, it's a bit deceptive. I wish the metal oxide was a bright color like a purple or something, so you could see that these aren't actually metal oxide bits. It's actually the host material that's got that. And you can see all of this still unpolished. And then you can see you get the shine, but you don't get a bunch of stuff trapped in the surface. I can bring it a bit closer. So there you go. You can see like there was that big pinhole there, empty, pinholes there, empty. You should be able to look at all these little holes, all these pits, and they should still be empty. Now you could treat stones like this and get rid of all of that, but I don't advise it. What you can do is, instead of jumping straight to aluminium oxide like a crazy person trying to pack in the pores, hit it with your Nova Points or the hard resin burrs or even the sandpaper. The sandpaper will get you to pretty much a full finish, at least if you use the sandpaper that I sell on the shop, because that goes up to 5,000 grit. 5,000 grit will actually get you a shine. Hit it with that aluminium oxide afterwards, and you won't have all of these ridges. You'll still have all of those holes, all of those little tunnel pits, but you won't have this wavy look. That's just from not grinding it all flat. The problem is, the more you grind, the more chance you've got of hitting some other big holes, big pockets like that. But yeah, I've talked about this method a lot in the past, and this was the perfect opportunity. I just had a spark in my brain while I was at work and thought, you know what, this is the perfect time to show off the soap trick. All you want to do is grind it in there like you really want to pack it in. Don't worry about it. It comes out so easily. You can either just let this soak, or just in the time that it takes you to get a finish on a stone like this, you're already going to be able to wash out most of it. Now, is it something that I'd advise people rely on heavily? No, not really. I think once you get the hang of it, wean off the soap and just get used to doing it with the water method that I've always shown on the channel, because you still don't get all of these little things packed in. Just don't bake your metal oxide powder in there. As long as you don't let it run too dry and you don't just absolutely pack it in, you're still going to manage to keep all of these clean. If a little bit gets stuck here and there, you can always use an electric toothbrush or something. Just any kind of bristle brush and just get rid of it. Well, maybe not any kind, don't use a metal brush. You can also finish this to a decent level, like I said, with things like this, my old sandpaper burrs. You can get these ones all the way up to 5,000 grit. That's probably where I would stop. 5,000 will get you there enough to do the metal oxide at the end, or you can go Nova points. They go all the way up to 50,000. The hard resins, unfortunately, I'm still not all the way up to that kind of mark yet. I'm working on it. Still have some hope, but the harder resin and the higher grits, they just aren't playing ball all that well. Another option is, of course, diamond paste. Heaps of ways to skin a cat. I just wanted to show you the method where you use a little bar of soap and just pack in the pores. That works on much more porous material than this. This actually wasn't too bad. Once I rubbed it in there, I realized that there weren't any massive voids. I had a look at the other pieces too, but that backside here was probably the best example I could get out of the pieces that Nick sent me. These pieces are actually really nice quality. Yeah, I like the video to have something new in it, so I just wanted to show off the bar of soap method. And this piece in general, I'm probably now just going to go through and hit it with the sandpaper drums. It's probably the easiest way to get a good finish. I won't need to go any lower than 1000 grit if I'm just going for a polish. Maybe I'll change the shape, I'm not too sure. I actually like this organic shape that it's in now. I even like the idea of chucking a drill hole straight through the top here between my two fingernails, and then stringing that up on a piece of leather. That's the simplest way to get it done. And then just polish absolutely every side of it. Since I'm not bezel setting it, I would just want everything to shine. And it's got some lightning crystal in it, so it looks amazing. Even these little cracks here, I can get those shining pretty well. I might just reveal a little bit more on there, but this is most likely a sandpaper job. If you're a beginner and you're really struggling, plenty of people have messaged me saying that their polishing powder is getting stuck in the surface of Andamuka or Boulder Opal. If you really have to, you can resort to the bar of soap method. So I'll see you in the next one, guys. Good luck, stay safe, have fun, and check out Nick Hoops.